We'll start out with the easy one, if there's an easy one. Uh, what originally what originally drew you to decide to open 3% listing company?
Well, I think part of it was listening to my son Pete and knowing that he kind of had a vision to do something different than what we'd been doing for the last 10, 15 years. It was about probably a 2 or 3 year process about listening and hearing the different things that you want to do, a different way that we could, sell real estate and take care of our clients, sitting around the dinner table a lot of times, and then all of a sudden walking in and saying, hey, it's time to go do this.
Yep. Well, I think that's that's really to the point too, that it wasn't anything that both of us were like just a knee jerk, oh, let's go do this. Like
Right.
there was a lot of processing and what's this going to look like, because it was, especially 2 or 3 years before, 2020, 2021, it was significantly different. It would have been a monumentally different way of going about doing real estate.
Well, and when we brought it out, it was a totally different way. We didn't realize that everybody was going to come around to the way we do business as quick as they did.
Yeah, that was kind of a surprise too when NAR settled in March after we had opened in June. Was very surprising to both of us, because we thought, the message that NAR had given before was long drawn out. We're going to fight this tooth and nail all the way through.
Correct. Yeah.
And then 9 months later, hey,
Yeah.
by the way, we settled.
Yep. And then everybody was working on our platform.
Yep.
What were you doing before real estate? Where were you at in your life?
Yeah, so I really went to school for real estate. I went to UNI. They have a real estate program. So I studied business there and took a lot of those classes, but really knew that, real estate was kind of the gig, was where I wanted to be. So it was really just a matter of like coming to the Quad Cities and getting established and starting to build a book of business that way. And so, but it wasn't really, I think there's a lot of people that real estate is kind of that second career, which is great. I think that allows a lot of people to build a network and know a lot of people, and then transition into a career in real estate. There's a lot of very successful people that way.
Sure.
But I think that's one of the things I like most about this industry is that you can have people that kind of come in from not doing anything real estate related and can be very successful. You can have other people who have done really, really well in previous careers that
Right.
step into this industry and do very, very well. But I think really at the end of the day, it really just takes somebody that knows, hey, it's not a walk in the park. This is not an easy job. I think a lot of people think that it's a very easy job to jump into.
Well, and I think a lot of people think it's real estate, and it's not. It's about taking care of people.
Yeah.
And that's, as long as you do that, buying the house and selling the house will all come with it. But I learned that early on. It's about taking care of your clients more than anything else.
I think the crazy part too about this job is how many different hats that you have to wear throughout. Like it's not just going out showing houses and putting a deal together. You also have to be focusing on marketing both your listings, but also yourself, because you have to be looking for the next deal after you've got this deal going. And so, there's just so many different facets of things that you have to pay attention to. And, not even just inside the transaction. Like there's a lot to do inside a transaction from start to finish. But if you're going to be successful as a real estate agent for a long-term career, it's still very much self-employment. You need to go out and create your own book of business that's going to continue.
You got to build relationships with people, not for now, not for 3 months, but maybe for years down the road.
Absolutely.
That, people don't buy or sell houses, but every, 5 or 7 years. And so you have to continue to drip on those people and continue to stay in contact with them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, there's no worse feeling than seeing a house go on the market for a house that you sold to them. And you're like, oh man, drop the ball on.
Yep.
I tried to reach out and stay in touch with my clients, but
and it happens.
sometimes it falls through. But I'll tell you what, as soon as that happens, it really kind of reinvigorates your desire and ambition to reach out to your clients again and do a better job at it, because you're like, man, that should have been a free deal for me.
Right, and stay on top of them.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
Was there a specific moment that you got tired of the traditional model, or were there even issues with the traditional model that you saw 3% listing company model as a better fit?
Well, I think there was a couple things when all this came about that we made the decision to make that transition. There were some things going on in my life that had changed a little bit, and I think my trust and my willingness to do something with you, I think that was the biggest thing. I know that you had put a lot of time in on this. You had done a lot of research on it, and I told you from the get-go, when you tell me it's time to go, we're going to go, right? I mean,
Yep.
And you walked in one day and said, hey, it's time to go.
Yep.
And that's when, and where I was for the longest time, I was a broker manager for a place, and it worked out fine, and I appreciate them, and I still appreciate them today, but this is the right move for us.
Yep.
And it was the right time, and you're not going to look back. I can't look back, and I don't want to look back, because everything we're doing is working out really well, I think.
Yeah. And I think that, the writing on the wall was really there from the industry standpoint. Not to say anything of the brokerage that we were at.
Well,
it was still working very well. We were both doing very good business at that point. But it was just really seeing that change in the industry where, the lawsuit, the buyer's agent lawsuit had come through, and it wasn't going to be long before this whole industry was going to see big
and it was
changes.
very interesting that we made a move, and the whole thing kind of moved really quickly after we decided to make that move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that, again, just really good timing on making it. If anything, maybe a little bit, even though we were ahead of the pack, I still feel like, man, if we had done it a year before, as much crow as we would have had to eat, or at least more crow that we would have had to eat, I feel like, man, it really would have been gotten us that much farther ahead. But again, you can't go back and make the regrets or anything, man. It would have been a whole lot.
The very
different.
beginning was tough. We had a lot of people against you.
Yeah.
Saying, hey, what you guys are doing is wrong, and it wasn't wrong. It was just different.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. What was the hardest lesson you had to learn, do you think?
Yeah, for being the broker in charge, which it isn't like touting anything, bragging.
It's nothing special.
No, it's a lot of responsibility, and it's a lot of liability.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I didn't. It wasn't that I hadn't thought of it. I just maybe didn't realize like how much responsibility it was. But that was also part of why we were slow to bring anybody with us.
Right.
Hindsight, that might be a little bit of a regret that we didn't upfront bring more people. But I had the opinion, I guess, that we were still kind of working out kinks of operations in trying to get things to go smoothly through a transaction and making sure our paperwork was right.
Yep.
And we didn't want to bring an agent kind of into our mess until we knew that we had everything hired out.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was a big a lot of conversation that we had was at what point do we feel that everything is ironed out so that we can bring somebody in and they can hit the ground running.
Right.
Because in this industry, with being 100% commission based income, the last thing that I wanted is to bring an agent on that we became a hindrance to them in their income.
Yeah.
I only wanted to be able to add to them,
right.
And support them and prop them up so that they could do a better business. And I think that was probably the biggest delay in our growth was that we just wanted to make sure we had all of our operations ironed out before we were bringing anybody on. So I think that was part of a little bit of the concerns that we had was growing a little bit slower. Now we're starting to pick up a little bit more momentum with agent recruitment, having those conversations
Right.
with people. But again, it's not really anything that we've like done intentionally. It's really just been conversation, who's
And I agree with
who's
you
out there.
100%. I would rather the people you're bringing in, you want to make sure you've got the right fit for them, but you also want to make sure it's the right atmosphere and everything is working properly and everything's going forward, rather than just throwing everybody into a room and say, hey, knock yourselves out.
Yeah.
And I think that we might not have grown as quick as what we were hoping to grow, but we're picking up people here and there, and that's what we want. And and we kind of choosy on the people that we want to work for.
Yeah.
Yeah. We want to work with us.
Well, and I think that kind of goes back to the same point. You bring people on, and I don't want to bring people on that are here for a day, for a month, for a year.
Yep.
I want to bring people on that we can build a relationship, that they find value in being under our brand and being with us. And we find value in them being able to support them and help them build their business, because that's really it. I mean, we only make money when they are making money, and that's one of my favorite parts about this business.
Right.
Is that it shouldn't be competition. I should never be in competition with the people that are under us or that we are looking over. And so that's been really the kind of the most important part for us, is how can we build a brokerage that is supporting the agent, and
100%.
trying to pour into them in whatever way they want to grow.
Right.
Can we do that? That's fiscally responsible. That makes sense for our bottom dollar, for our bottom line, but at the same time that we're propping them up to be more successful and grow their business. And so I think that kind of gets back to that idea of wearing a lot of hats, a lot of different hats. And
you have,
as a brokerage, how can we take some of those hats away from the agent, and can we wear some of these hats
and let them go out and do what
them go do what they want?
They know what to do.
And that's the greatest part. I think you talk to a lot of agents, and some of them say, "Oh, my favorite part is going out and showing houses.
Right.
My favorite part is preparing a house to be listed. My favorite part is working the transaction and setting up the inspections and dealing with all the paperwork." Well, if you're an agent and that's the part that you love, then let's figure out how can we amplify that portion of it and allow us to take some of these other responsibilities off
your table.
Yeah,
Sure.
and so that's really the direction that I see us growing, is trying to build a team that is supportive of the agents so that they can grow in the way that they want to, and then we can be here to kind of pick up all the pieces.
Sure. Makes sense.
So
honestly, I don't know if I really looked at it really hard until we sat down and talked. And we sat down and had a few work sessions about, hey, what if we do this? I mean, I can remember the afternoon we went to dinner with our wives, and we were sitting there talking about different stuff. And it just came to a point where it's like, man, we can do something different.
Mm-hmm.
We can, you don't have to be somewhere in an office for 8 hours a day and then try to go sell real estate for another 4 hours at night or on the weekends and work 70 or 80 hours a week just to take care of your family.
Yeah.
And I'm at the twilight of my career. I mean, and I say that happily. I mean, I don't want to be 75 years old out selling real estate.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to be. And I think that this was at the right time, it was the right thing to do to get everything up and running. And I know I haven't been near as much help as I probably should be, because you've taken this by the horns and you're running with this hard. And I think that it's just a matter of making sure we get it up to where it's going to go into some really good hands, and those are yours.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no doubt about that.
You know what, you say that about dinner with the wives, and that was a really key moment, because it wasn't, this wasn't born out of just conversation between you and I about building this. There was a lot of conversation with both Peg and Annie that of me talking to Annie and you talking to Peg, and then us getting together, and really that kind of that meeting of the minds too. And I think that's been the way that our relationships have been all the way through, especially in our career paths. That we weigh these things out, and okay, what is the risk and what is the reward? And I think one of the things that surprised both of us the most was coming out of that conversation with how on board both Peg and Annie were. With like, let's do it. Let's do it.
I mean, no, and that was my biggest worry. I mean, Peg came from the background she was at, and it's like, hey, it's going to be on us now. I mean, and it's always been on us, but yet it's going to be, hey, what are we going to do to make sure that we're successful? And there's nothing, not a better feeling in the world than that, when you can actually go out. And I feel like these last, 2 going on 3 years have been really successful for us. We're doing what we want to do, and we have a vision of what we want done. And I think we're getting to the point where we're getting there.
Yeah. I would say probably agent recruitment has been the most difficult. Operations side of things isn't really difficult. It's really just time consuming. Trying to find the right platform of software that you want to use that offers the best support and the best features for agents. I think all of that just took a little bit of research. We went through a couple of different options. Another one that we ran into was like the issue with Realty Gen, and trying to find, where do you spend your money, and how do you advertise, and what is the best,
where's your return at?
Where's your best return on these dollars, so we got kind of bit by that deal, but what a good learning curve, and not $1 million lesson. And I think that's the important factor, as you look at it and go, hey, we lost some money, we didn't get some leads, we didn't build the business off of that we thought, but
we're going to learn how to do it better the next time.
So I think that was kind of the area that was a little bit difficult. I think kind of the pushback from agents, like we knew there was going to be pushback. I think I was a little caught off guard by like the amount, not the amount, by the like level of anger and frustration and how vocal and upfront.
I mean, there was different platforms where they were just roasting us, and it's like, you guys don't even know what the program is. And you've got people out there talking crap about us that I hadn't even heard of half of them.
Well, and I thought it was funny too, like how many conversations that we had with agents who just blatantly said, well, that's fine, we're not gonna show your houses, we're not gonna show your listings, and then we'd always respond with, hey, that's perfectly fine, can you send that to me in an email? And as soon as you ask for written proof of what they're saying, they tend to
tone
stop
it down a little bit.
Pretty quick. But I think that's also what was a little surprising to me was how many other brokers and managers that I was talking to that that they were like, oh no, that's not happening, we're not having that issue, our agents aren't saying that stuff, and I'm like, I can guarantee that they are, because I'm the one that's fielding these calls. And they're on my phone telling me these things. So that was very eye-opening for me.
I think the recruiting part was the challenge a little bit, and I think it went back to, we talked about this a lot of times. Do we want to just bring on a whole group of people and not have everything set in place the way we wanted it, or did we want, and maybe we got on the back end of that boat a little bit? But I still think I've never been, I think the real estate, whether it's recruiting or whether it's working with a client, it shouldn't be pressure. It should be, hey, I'm going to talk to you, we're going to build a relationship, we're going to talk about it. I'm not going to try to pressure you into anything. I'm not going to call you 5 times a week and say, hey, are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Because that's just not the way I look at it. And I've never looked at real estate as being a transaction. It's it's always been building a relationship with people.
Yeah.
I mean, we still talk to a lot of people that, or you talk to somebody that you haven't talked to in maybe 6 months or so, and they call you up, and they don't even call you up about real estate. It's like calling you up about something else just to talk. And I think that's a great thing. But I think that was one of the things that I was not ever really great at or good at, was kind of pressuring people into making a decision. Hey, I'm going to show you the houses. You're going to know which house you want when you see it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say I'm going to, there's people out there say, I want to show you 5 houses, pick one. Well, it might not be the 5th house.
Yeah.
I told people yesterday, I said, hey, the house you're looking for might not even be on the market yet. I mean,
Yep.
And that's the truth.
That's the same conversation that, I've had with a lot of clients, the same way that you go, I'm not in this business to sell you anything. Like,
Right.
in my opinion, real estate is not a sales job at all. It's a preparation job, it's an experience job, and it's a guidance job. Like, that's the whole point of this whole industry. But then the other side of it too is, especially now with the change to buyer agent agreements, that entire mentality of, I want to work with people who want to work with me.
Right.
And if you don't want to work with me, that's perfectly fine. Yeah. We are not going to be the fit for every single person in every situation. Yep. And so that's that mentality. And I've always had that mentality with buyers and sellers as clients. But I think a little bit where I had to make the connection was, it needs to be the same way with agents that we're bringing into the company.
Right.
I want to work with people who want to work with me. So I'm not going to be the one that's chasing them to beg and plead that they come and work for us.
Right.
I'm gonna present, hey, this is what we offer. What are you looking for? Is there a way that we can maybe make a change in our business? Is there something that we can do in our business that would appeal to you and building your business? But if it's not, okay. I wish you the best. I think you're going to be very successful. Go and do your thing. But it's not going to be about, like you said, me calling every day for 2 weeks begging you to come over.
Yeah, that's not what it's about.
No.
Yep.
And
I
so,
agree.
I think that was the recruitment side was definitely one of the things that was difficult, is still difficult, and trying to kind of navigate that.
I would say I'm most proud of you by doing this and stepping outside of your box, and I know this was something you're looking at, and I think that being part of this, knowing that I'm kind of on my back end of this whole thing, I'm proud of you stepping up and saying, hey, this is what I want out of my life, and what I want, and it's real estate still, but it's a different type of real estate. And I think I'm most proud of us. Hey, we started in our basement, and basically it was 2 of us, maybe 3 of us, and we're in an office now, and we're able to possibly move in down the road into something bigger. We're picking up people, but we're picking up the people that not only want to be with us, but we want to be with them too. I think I look at our group as kind of a family, and people say, "Oh, that's corny to say," and I don't say that very often. I mean, but I think that everybody that works with us and everybody we're working with, there isn't anything we wouldn't do for them.
Yeah.
And you can't say that about everybody, about everything. And I think that's very important.
Yep.
Having some of the people that came on board with us, we're not big, we're not huge, but hey, we're where we want to be right now. Mm-hmm. We never thought we were going to be multimillionaires off this whole deal. It was just something different, and we wanted to do it a little bit different. Yeah. And I think that's the biggest thing I'm proud of. I mean, is that we're just doing something different too.
Yeah. I think when you start talking about how people and the people that you're surrounding yourself with, and we always kind of use that phone call, the what do they call it? The phone ID, the caller ID litmus test, and you go, okay, if this person is calling you or this person calls you 4 times,
right.
Do you look down at your phone and go, oh man, I do not want to talk to this person? Or are you looking at it and going, oh, hey, they're calling, and you pick up the phone? If you're filling your company with people that you are going to agonize over taking their call,
you don't want to take the call. Yeah,
man,
right.
Those
are the wrong people.
That's the rough people to surround yourself with. And so, that kind of gets back to that idea of, being a family. There's when people call, when agents call, and I'm looking at that, I'm answering it because I want to talk to them, A, and B, I want to help with whatever issue they're having.
Exactly.
I want to answer their question. I want to give them the guidance that they're looking for, and be that resource for them, which is what our role is.
And you want to help them get to where, hey, I got this deal going. This is what I need. I got these questions. Hey, let's answer the questions. Let's get the deal done. Let's get you to move on to the next one, because that's what they need. That's where their income's from. That's where their livelihood is. And that's how they take care of their family too. And we want to make it as easy on them as we possibly can, and not throw a bunch of hurdles in front of them. And I think sometimes at different places, there's always a lot of hurdles. Oh, you can do this, you can't do that. You can't, well, they're an independent contractor. They can kind of do what they want to do. We're just here to help them through the process, I think. I mean, I think that's a huge thing where a lot of times people get in the way of thinking, well, hey, we're the boss, we're the this. No, we're just here to help them get through the process and make good decisions and make sure their people are making good decisions through it.
Yeah.
The company is innovative, and I think that we are very client focused. And I think that is the most important thing we can be, is that we are client focused, and by being client focused, we're also making sure we're taking care of our agents that are with us. Now, would we love to have some more agents? Yeah, that'd be great. The right agents, the right fit. But one sentence is, I think we're innovative, and I think we are client and agent focused.
Advice from the start would probably be recruit more agents up front. I probably would have done that sooner than what we did.
Right.
And again, I think that was a little bit out of fear, but I think that's definitely where I feel like we could have grown a little bit more. The more people that you have also helps to build the mechanism to growth. So you have more ideas that are coming in. The more agents that we bring in, that they're bringing fresh ideas in. They're the ones that are out in the industry that are seeing what other markets are doing. They're on social media and seeing what agents are doing in other places, and bringing those ideas back to us.
Well, and they're also talking to other agents also too.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so I think that was probably one that I would change. Operations wise, I don't know that there really is. I think that
that was just a learning curve.
I think we did pretty well with that. We tried to keep our overhead as low as we could, so that we could really pour as much as we could into those different operations, lead generation, advertising, and things like that. So I think that's all probably about where we should have been, and probably just a little bit more agent focused in bringing people on ahead of schedule, as opposed to when we were a lot more comfortable.
Right.
So I would love to see, in the next 2 years, I would love to see us having another 10, 15 agents and growing that way. I don't really feel like we would need to expand geographically yet. I think that we're still in that stage of there's a lot of business in the Quad Cities, and I would be comfortable continuing that way. But I think there's definitely some, further down the road, definitely some other markets that we would like to explore, as far as, if there's agents that are in other markets that would be interested, or would like to have a conversation about bringing it to their market, that there's definitely some ownership opportunities that way that would be discussed. But I think there's a lot of opportunity for expanding with other agents and bringing them in and seeing how we can grow, volume and transactions, and growing that number here locally. And so,
I
would say, that's really it.
I mean, I agree with you 100%. I think that it's just a matter of growing the team and really kind of honing in on what we want to do, making sure that, hey, I think we've done a really good job about getting our name out for being as small as we are. I think that doing that more, I think that builds a clientele.
Yeah.
And that's what we need to do. I mean, we just need to build a clientele. And we're only going to do that one client at a time. I mean,
Yeah.
and by them having a great experience and then them talking to somebody else. I mean, I think the ceiling's high for this company. It's just a matter of, it's just going to take a little bit of time. But I think that the harder we work at it, the better off we're going to be.
Yeah. I think that other aspect, it kind of brought, you saying that kind of brought this back to mind, that, wanting to grow in aspects that are different from other companies, or the way other companies are kind of built. And, we've always kind of strived for that. Early on, one of my biggest issues with any type of marketing was, oh, well, this is how a real estate agent markets. Okay, well, if that's how a real estate agent markets, I don't want to market that way. I want to differentiate myself.
Is there something different?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That idea of buying a place on the back of the Quad City Times. You remember the ad spots with all of the real estate agents, and it was just this like thumbnail of a picture of that agent, and you're buying that one spot, and you're one of 100 on the back that back page. And I look at that and go, well, what's going to make? I mean,
what's going to stand you out?
This face is not good enough for somebody to look at me and go, I want to work with that guy.
Right.
So I got to figure out a way to differentiate myself from the pack, and make it so that people are attracted to us in this business.
I mean, I think your greatest idea so far has been sponsoring all the Little League teams.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they've all got jerseys, they've all got shirts, all the parents have shirts and everything like that. And just being at the games for them and stuff, I think that has gone above and beyond what you ever thought it might.
So here is a great story, even literally from this morning.
Yeah.
I had we had to switch primary care physicians after Annie got her new job. And so I had my first meeting with the doctor wellness check this morning. Right. And so we're in there and he's going over my history and he looks down at my coffee mug and he goes, 3% listing company. He goes, you work for that? And I go, well, yeah. I go, my dad and I own that company. He goes, oh, no way. He goes, you guys sponsored my son's Little League team. Wow. And I go, are you serious? He goes, yeah. He goes, we wore 3% logos all summer last year. And I said, oh, cool. Yeah. So, hey, we sponsored, I think, with 6 teams last year. Yeah. And so, yeah, what a fun way to get our name out and just get a little more visibility that way.
Most definitely.
And so, but, growing the business as well is that aspect of how can we continue to grow services to the agents, and do so in a way that is fiscally responsible so that we don't feel too much of a bind on us.
Right.
But we're also trying to minimize the amount of money that we're having to ask that the agents give up as well. And so,
be able to market and give the, what's the word to use here? I'm losing it, but to do the marketing and to do the outreach for our company, but yet still be fiscally responsible to our agents.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing.
And that's, we see that with just this last year with bringing on staff to do video and creation, content focus, so that it's trying to take, again, going back to taking those hats away from the agents. If they have a desire to do video but don't have the budget to do it, then hey, look, we're footing the bill for this.
Right.
We're happy to do that. All you have to do is put in the effort to come meet with him and record, and we can get this stuff out for you. And so that's the ways that I want to see us growing, is what other services does an agent want? How do they want to market themselves, and how can we come alongside them to help support that, or even do it?
Right.
How can we implement this for you?
Yep.
And so that's been really the desire of my heart for this company moving forward, is to provide all of these services to the agents to help them in whatever capacity, whatever direction, whatever ambition that they have.
To make them successful.
Yeah, to make themselves successful. Because I think that's one of the biggest drawbacks to this is that it's very hard to market yourself without income. Well, it's very hard to have income if you're not marketing yourself. So it's, that double-edged sword that you're always going to be fighting against. So if we can help kind of pull some of those costs away and take some of those on as a company to help build up the agents, I feel like that is a real benefit to all of them to go after a marketing strategy that maybe they didn't think was really possible before.
Right. Sure. No, I think it's been an interesting 2.5 years, going on 3. It's been interesting. It's
going
been
on
fun.
3.
Going on 3.
We're 3 months away from 2 months away from 3 years.
And you ask yourself that question: is, man, where would we be in 3 years?
Yeah.
I mean, I think we're doing pretty darn good.
Yep.
And it's just a matter of just building everything. I can remember the first week of the company and them calling and telling us that we had a cease and desist from the state of Iowa because what we were doing was wrong. Well, it wasn't what we were doing was wrong. It was what whoever called us in wasn't.
We've come a little ways.
We've come a long way since then. Yes, we have. We have.
Yep. So awesome. Well, I think this has been a really good conversation. I think this is it's been fun to kind of reminisce on where we started and the things that have kind of evolved to get us to where we're at and to see where the next couple of years take us.
I agree, 100%.